Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Microsoft Reactor live stream. I'm Isabel, your host, and I'm thrilled to have you join us for this exciting session. Now, before we begin, just a quick reminder about the Reactor Code of Conduct. We are committed to fostering a welcoming, inclusive, and supportive environment, so please let's keep the chat respectful and constructive throughout today's session. Today's live stream is the second in our Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric digital series, and I'm delighted to introduce our fantastic speakers, Yeshu and Linda Wang. Yeshu is a senior program manager with 9 years of experience delivering innovative data integration features across Azure Data Factory, Synapse, and Fabric. He's also a dedicated community contributor sharing his expertise. Linda Wang is a senior program manager at Microsoft with 11 years of experience in scalable, distributed big data services on Azure. She specializes in data integration and has been an instrumental member in shipping impactful solutions. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat throughout today's session. We'll address as many as we can. And don't worry if you miss anything because the session will be available on the Reactor YouTube channel afterwards. Without any further ado, let's give a warm virtual round of applause to our incredible guests, Yeshu and Linda Wang.
Yeah, thank Isabel. Yeah, this is I'm coming from the data factory team in Microsoft. So as always, we always start from what's the data Microsoft Fabric. So Microsoft Fabric is a unified data platform for AI transformation. So it brings together a unified data foundation, which deeply integrates multiple services, including data factory, data analysis, database, real-time intelligence, Power BI, and more. So Microsoft Fabric is built on top of the AI-powered OneLake, and it's governed by the Purview. So for today's session, we're gonna more focus on one of the services, Data Factory. So if we move to the next page, you're gonna see Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric it's built on the top of the unification of Azure Data Factory, which is our professional data integration capability on Azure, and Power Query, our self-service data preparation capability embedded in Excel, Power BI, Office 365, Dynamics, and Power Platform. So Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric provide both the no-code and professional code approach for you to do the data integration. Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric also AI powered by the Copilot, and it was deeply integrated with open sources. If you go to the next slide, we're gonna show you how the Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric deliver the major data integration capabilities. So Data Factory can help you to get access on a big variety of sources, no matter your data is on-premise, on cloud, behind the firewall, or within the VNet. So we can help you to get your access there. And then we provide a petabyte scale data movement capability from those source to any destination. So Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric can also help you to transform your data with low-code experience powered by Power Query, and then at scale with the Fabric Compute. So what's more, Data Factory can help you to orchestrate data movement, data transformation, and other data integration capability to make sure your end-to-end data integration workflow works. And then the deployment, CI/CD, observability, those are the key things are also part of the Data Factory to make your data platform a complete one. So at last, the Data Factory is also built on top of the AI-powered OneLake. So when you move to the next slide, you can see when you log on the Data Factory in Microsoft Fabric, we have multiple different items. So when you open a pipeline, it actually helps you to orchestrate those data movement, data transformation, and machine learning, those kind of things in a type of the activities. If you open the data flow gen tool, it actually provides you a no-code, low-code exchange to help you to transform your data. If you open the copy job, it actually helps you to move your data at scale from any source to any destination. It covers both the initial full load and incremental load. So if you open the mirrored database, it actually provides a turnkey exchange for you to replicate all your databases from any existing source to the OneLake. So next, we can hand over to Linda, gonna help to deep dive on database mirroring. So Linda.
Thanks, Ia, for the overview. So next in this session, we want to talk about more for the database mirroring. So before we start talking about the mirroring, let's share more about the OneLake. So you always hear the OneLake in the context of the Microsoft Fabric. OneLake is all about a single unified logical data lake for your whole organization. So you can imagine that as the OneDrive of your data to store all the data for your organization. So there are different ways to bring data into the OneLake. And on top of that, you have various native Fabric experience enabled seamlessly, like data engineering, data scientist, reporting, data integration, or etc. So with that in mind, while we're unifying all the data into the OneLake, there are different ways to bring data into OneLake or make the data accessible via the OneLake. So here we may see that you may hear about the shortcuts. So shortcuts is about bring the objects in external. You can point the objects in external storage locations for the OneLake that you can access there to consume those data. And today, what we're going to talk about more is about the mirroring. So mirroring is about you can add the whole database, external databases, into the OneLake to consume the data there. On top of that, once the data is in OneLake, you can use all those top experiences of the Fabric to derive the data insights for your external databases. So double click into the mirroring in Microsoft Fabric. As mentioned, it's all about like making your external database available in OneLake. So once you set up the mirror database in Fabric, what you see in the source will automatically show up inside the OneLake. So Fabric will manage all the complexity and magic for you. And also, with the database, within the mirroring, we have the database mirroring, which Fabric will leverage the CDC kind of solution to detect the change from the source, to replicate the change data into the OneLake, and also make that data available as a delta table inside the OneLake for consumption. In addition to those CDC-based solutions of the database mirroring, we also have the metadata mirroring, which is available for mirror database for other data breaks. So it's just replicate the metadata for you, and then you can consume that inside the Fabric OneLake, just like the others. So today, in the rest of the sessions, we will more focus on the database mirroring. So we'd love to introduce more about what is the database mirroring, how it works behind the scene, so what capability will provide now and on the roadmap. So we'd like to share all those with you. So if we look more into the database mirroring, so with just a few clicks in Fabric, you can set up a mirror database for various type of data sources. So behind the scene, what Fabric will manage for you is it will connect to the data source, do an initial snapshotting to replicate all the historical data, and also it will leverage the change tracking mechanism for the data source to really detect all the insert, update, delete for the source and keep replicating all those into landing zone and subsequently to the destination delta table for the mirror database for consumption. So all those are happened behind the scene automatically for you. And also it's in a near real-time manner. So what do you need to do in Fabric is just set up a mirror database with just a few clicks. And next, I'd like to show you a demo so you can get more ideas on how the database mirroring actually works in Fabric. Let's do that.
Let's go ahead and create a SQL database mirror. We'll give it a name. We'll hit create, and then it'll ask us for connection information. We'll give it our database, and then we'll hit mirror database. After a short time, it'll go into the running state, at which point we can monitor the replication. This may take a little bit of time, but you can refresh and then see the status of the replicated rows for your given database. Now, let's go over to the SQL Analytics endpoint. And from here, we can actually go look at the data within inside of our mirror. Let's go to the employees table, and we can see the rows that are present in that table. We've got 9 rows. Over in Azure Data Studio, if we look at the database there, we also see 9 rows against the actual SQL database. Let's insert a new row to see if it gets replicated. But even more than that, let's add a new column and then update the data in that new column. This is not something you could previously do with Synapse Link, but you can with a Microsoft Fabric Mirror. We updated that data and can see the column and new row in Azure SQL Database. Going back to Microsoft Fabric, after a short period of time, we can go ahead and query that table. And then we can go ahead and see that the column and the row are present in the mirror itself. Back in our workspace, we can see that we've got 3 mirrors set up: Cosmos DB, Snowflake, and our SQL Database mirror. Going back to our SQL Database mirror, inside of the Explorer, we can actually include all of the relevant mirrors that we want. Now, let's go ahead and query our Cosmos DB mirror from our SQL mirror. So we can do a 3-part name to do this, and we can actually see data in the products table in Cosmos DB. Now let's do a cross-database join, where we actually join that products data with our SQL database data, and we can see that information. Let's go ahead and make this a view on that given products table, so now we can leverage it within inside of our semantic model. And if we go to that semantic model, we can see the relevant tables from the SQL database mirror, as well as our sales product table from our Cosmos DB mirror. All of these are joined together in a complete solution that we can now report on. Going back to our workspace, we can actually see that we have a report ready to go. So let's go and pull up that report. And now we have visualized the data that's combining from our SQL database as well as our Cosmos DB mirror in a complete solution within inside of Microsoft Fabric.
Yeah, this is the demo for the overview for database mirroring. Hope it gives you some more idea on what it is. And next, we'd like to dive into each of the sources that we support database mirroring. So let's start with Snowflake. So we support database mirroring for Snowflake as a GA. So we announced the GA back in September in FabCon Europe. So you can just open the Fabric and create a database, mirror database for Snowflake to give it a try. And if we look at how the Snowflake mirroring works, so the setup is just like what you see in the demo. We will do another demo specifically for Snowflake just now, later, shortly. And once the mirror database for Snowflake is set up, so what happens behind the scene is Fabric will connect to your Snowflake database to do an initial snapshot to bring in all the data. And also it will detect insert, update, deletes by leveraging the Snowflake string, and then replicate those incremental changes into OneLake, then reflected in the mirror database delta tables. So next, let's look at a specific Snowflake demo on how the Snowflake mirroring is set up and working. So here, when you new item, you can see a mirror database for Snowflake. Then here you can connect, you can configure a connection. You can specify how you want Fabric to connect to your Snowflake. Then you can choose a database where you want to mirror the data. And next, you can choose to actually replicate all the data from the database or select subset of tables. Then you configure a destination mirror database name. Then that's all for the setup. Later on, you will see all the data is being replicated to the Fabric mirror database. Then you can query that in the SQL Analytics endpoints, just like what we show here in the demo. And you can also consume the data, for example, directly for reporting or in Spark notebooks. So all those will just work seamlessly once the data landed into the OneLake. So besides Snowflake, we also want to share more about the SQL family support. So database mirroring for SQL Just a few weeks back, we were excited to announce the general availability for mirroring for Azure SQL databases in Fabric, which is a great milestone, and we'd love to share this news with you. And along with this general availability announcement, there are some new features we just added as part of the GA, which includes the DDL support, like when you do alter table in the source, like you drop add columns or you do the truncate table, all those kind of DDL changes can be replicated into the mirror database as well. And in addition, we also add the public REST API support for mirror database management. Later on, we will share more. Just later in the session, we will share more about this public API support. Also, we add the support to replicate your source schema hierarchy. So, which what you see in your source database will data will land exactly the same inside the mirror database. We'll talk about that more later as well. So all those were part of the Azure SQL database mirroring GA that you can try it out. Besides the Azure SQL database mirroring, we also announced the public preview for Azure SQL MI mirroring. We also hear you ask that you may have data resides in the SQL managed instance that currently we also support the mirroring as well. So the setup is just like the Azure SQL database as well. So it's very easy. You can just configure it in Fabric, then the data will show up in the OneLake for consumption. Then we also want to share the Azure Cosmos DB mirroring. So you may have your app data or analytics data in the Azure Cosmos DB. And we all know that Azure Cosmos DB is a NoSQL store, which the data is not in tabular shape. But we can also mirror the data into OneLake that you can easily consume it. Let's see a demo for Cosmos DB mirroring as well.
In this demo, we're going to show you how to enable near real-time analytics on your Azure Cosmos DB data using mirroring feature in Microsoft Fabric. We are in Azure portal looking at retail order processing account. This account has orders DB database with multiple containers with information on order status, items per order, product information, customer information. Let's navigate to Fabric. Now let's create a mirrored Cosmos DB database. Let's give this database a name. You can give any name of your convenience. It need not be the same name as the Cosmos DB database. I already have an existing connection to this Cosmos DB account, so I'm going to select that. And next, we get to pick the database we would like to mirror. So I'm going to select the orders DB database and mirror this. At this point, the data in all the containers in orders DB database is getting replicated into Microsoft OneLake in Delta Parquet format. This is going to take a few seconds to a minute. So while that's in progress, I'd like to show you the read-only source database view. We have built this experience in Fabric where you can browse your original collections and run SQL queries as you would from Azure portal. We have integrated Azure Data Explorer into Fabric, giving you the same experience. You cannot write any data into the source databases from here. You can only browse the collections and query them. And these operations will accrue RU charges as these are run directly against the Cosmos DB database. We built this as a convenience for you so you can look at this data directly from here instead of navigating away from Fabric. Now let's look at the replication status and let's see if the replication is done. We can see each of the containers of orders DB database is represented as a table in Fabric. We can see also that the replication status is still in progress. If it is done, the total rows replicated and the last refresh time will be updated. And we can see the data is already replicated. We have all of our container data now in OneLake and we can analyze this data. Now you can also seamlessly join the mirrored data with any other data in lake houses or shortcuts that are added to the lake houses. You can query this data from the Spark engine without any further data movement. Mirroring makes it easy and convenient for you to set up near real-time analytics on your Cosmos DB data.
Cool. And hope it helps give you more idea on how Cosmos DB mirroring works.
In this demo,
So As we shared, currently we support various type of data sources for database mirroring. So we have Snowflake Elder SQL database as generally available, and also have the Cosmos DB Elder SQL MI and Databricks for public preview. For Databricks one is based on the metadata mirroring. Well, we also hear your feedback. You want more mirroring support for different type of data sources. So here, I'd like to share more features or more source support that is coming soon. One of the popular asks we got is the on-prem SQL Server or SQL Server on VM. So we are working on that. That will be available for you soon. And also, SQL Server announced the new version of 2025 just a few weeks back. So we will support mirroring for that as well. Also, we will support the idle database for PostgreSQL Mirror and also mirroring for Oracle. So all those are being actively working on, and the preview will be available in the near future. So stay tuned for our future updates for mirroring. In addition to the new source support, I'd also like to share more new capabilities that we're adding into the database mirroring. So to start with, one is the REST API support. I mentioned that briefly in the other SQL DB section. So what we added is that you now can use the APIs to create, do the CRUD kind of operations to manage your mirror database item. In addition, we also have the APIs that you can monitor the mirroring status and also start or stop the mirror. So this really gives you a way to programmatically manage this mirror database item inside Fabric. And also, one of the common asks we hear from you is that you may have your source data database sit behind the firewall or have network access control, like for other SQL database or Snowflake. So we're adding the support to empower mirroring using the on-prem data gateway or virtual network data gateway so that you can leverage those components in Fabric to connect to the databases behind the firewall. So those will be available soon for you as well, which will expand the scenario coverage for you to leverage the mirroring to replicate your data into Fabric. So in addition to that, we are also adding Git integration for mirror database item. So this is just like how you can leverage Git for different type of Fabric items. So mirror database will have that Git integration capability as well. So you can do this kind of ALM support, deployment pipeline, CI/CD kind of thing. So this is coming soon as well. So you can easily using the deployment pipelines to deploy the mirror database across the environments, leveraging the Fabric ALM support. Last but not least, we are improving the monitoring support, the monitoring for mirror database as well. So currently, when you set up a mirror database, we provide a glance view for all the tables that you choose for mirror. And while it provides a high-level status, we also hear some feedback that you want to know what happens behind the scene or what's the status over time for each table, any issue happened. So we are integrating with the Fabric workspace monitoring to provide more insights on the mirror, the replication execution. So there you can understand per table how much data being mirrored over time, any issue, what's the latency, or etc. So to provide you more insights if you want to check what happens for your mirror database. So all those capabilities coming very soon, early next year, starting from early next year. So we'll keep you posted on the future announcement for mirror database. Yeah, hope that helps your scenario as well. So in addition to those, we also got a set of other feedbacks from you. So while we have a list of the sources that we're adding for the database mirroring, we got feedback like your ask about you have data resides in various type of data services that in the wild that currently we don't yet have that on the roadmap. Or you may have ways to pull the data from source, but you want a more efficient way to write data into Fabric. So to write data into, for example, as delta tables, but you don't want to really manage those complexities, or you don't want to maintain the delta tables. And also you may using some different tools like data integration tools that already move data from A to B, and you want to make that use the same tool to really write data to Fabric efficiently. So for all those feedbacks we got from different channels, we do want to enhance the mirroring solutions so as we can more help you really replicate the data from different source systems into Fabric efficiently. So to address those scenarios, I'm excited to announce a new solution that we just announced public preview a few months back as the open mirroring. So what is open mirroring? This is a new capability we are adding into Fabric. So really to enable any application to integrate data into OneLake via the mirroring. So left-hand side with the diagram, you see that there's a landing zone, there's a CDC processing and tables. It's similar as what I shared in the earlier slide about the database mirroring. So the difference is like you can use various tools to drop the data into a landing zone from your source. Like you can use existing tools, or you can even use the UI drag and drop to land the data into landing zone. Then Fabric mirroring will handle the rest for you. So what happens behind the scene is from the landing zone to the delta table destination, Fabric mirroring will replicate all the change data there and land that into the delta format. Then it's the same as how you can consume that in OneLake afterwards. So this is really to provide that flexibility that you can build customer mirroring solutions, and you don't need to worry about the complexities behind the scene that really delegate that into Fabric to automatically handle that to you, and also keep your destination mirror database up to date as your source data. So with this intro, I'd like to show you a demo on how open mirroring works for this scenario. Let's see a demo.
Starting right from my Fabric homepage, I'll create a new item. Here, I can see all of my data sources: SQL Database, Cosmos DB, and Databricks in preview, and Snowflake generally available. And soon you will see our two new sources, SQL Server and PostgreSQL. But now we have a powerful new option, and that is Mirror Database, our open mirroring functionality. Let's go ahead and click and select New Mirror Database. From there, we'll give it a name and hit Create. Now, let's go ahead and show some of the inside mechanics of how open mirroring will work. I have some orders data saved as a CSV file on my desktop. If I go to my folder and I open it, you'll see the rows and the headers. All I have to do is drag and drop it into the landing zone, and the file immediately shows up. Our engine immediately writes initial snapshot and change data, processing it into an analytics-ready format. And just like that, within seconds, my tables appear in OneLake on the other side. A table was generated from the CSV file. I can either go to the replication status to monitor my rows, or I can go to my SQL Analytics endpoint. Let's head to my SQL Analytics endpoint and verify that my rows have been replicated over. Right now, I'm working with around 62 rows of orders data. But as we all know, new orders are constantly being modified or created either through Python scripts or manual updates. I want to ensure every change is reflected. For example, zooming into the first row here, I notice that the order price for this row is wrong, and I need to change this price to $100,000. All I need to do is create more CSV files with only the changes. For this particular row, I have a CSV file that has an upsert. And see, the difference in these CSV files is that it's got a column here that tells us the operation of each row, like insert, update, or delete. I have gone ahead and updated the price to $100,000 for this particular row. But look, I can add even more operations in the same CSV file. In this case, I'm deleting 3 rows. And you can tell that by seeing that the row markers are marked by 2. That corresponds to deleting the next 3 rows from my orders table.
And lastly, in that same CSV file, I am inserting 5 rows with the row marker as 1, letting the engine know that 5 brand new rows will be added to my orders table as well. I could have separated all these operations into different CSV files or packed them into the same one like I have done here. Let's navigate back to the landing zone and drag and drop the CSV file here, and the file in the Analytics Ready format automatically shows up. And now look, the table on OneLake just got updated with these instructions. I can quickly go to my SQL Analytics endpoint and verify that all my operations have been done. The first row has indeed been updated with the correct pricing number. I can also verify that the 3 rows that I have deleted are no longer showing up here as well. And lastly, I can confirm that my 5 rows that I added at the end of my CSV file have indeed been added in here as well.
Yeah, this is the demo for open mirroring. As you see, what you can do is tell the drop the data into the landing zone following a format, that landing zone format. Then Fabric mirroring will handle the rest for you to really reflect the changes, the data changes into the destination mirror database delta tables. And this drag and drop experience will come soon as well.
Starting
So along with this open mirroring public preview announcement, in addition to open mirroring provide more flexibility for you to build customer solutions, leverage the mirroring. We also are closely working with various partners to provide a joint solution for you so that you can use that. So some of the partners that we just announced as public preview along, including that String, which support different type of data sources to replicate. And also we collaborate with Oracle Golden Gate to support the open mirroring that you can replicate Oracle on-prem or in the cloud. And also MongoDB, for example, if you have the MongoDB Atlas, there's a solution for you to really mirror the data into Fabric. There are more coming soon, like DataStax. And also we work with more partners, and you can stay tuned for a future announcement for partners as well. So you can use this short link to learn more about our Fabric open mirroring that will share more details about what is the open mirroring and how it works. And next, I would like to show you a solution that for Oracle Golden Gate integration with the open mirroring demo. Let's do that.
Let's start with the Oracle Exadata database service, which shows the Oracle database running on the Australia East infrastructure, one of our latest Oracle database at Azure regions. We will capture the scan DNS from the VM cluster here and then go into SQL Developer. What we're doing here is connecting to the Oracle database running on the Exadata infrastructure in Azure. Once we test the connectivity, we will connect to one of the tables in the sales history schema, specifically the customers table, as we will be making some changes later on to demonstrate replication. Let's run a quick select query to view the data. Next, we will establish access between Golden Gate and Microsoft Fabric with the help of Microsoft Entra Service Principal Object that gets created during app registration. From the service principal created, we will need the client ID, tenant ID, the display name, and secret for establishing access. Let us now switch to Microsoft Fabric. To start with, we will add the service principal as a contributor on the Fabric workspace where we will create the mirror database. This step gives Golden Gate the access to write to the workspace and the resources within the workspace. We will create a new open mirror database in the Microsoft Fabric workspace with just a couple of clicks. It is literally that easy. This is just an empty shell now. We can see that the mirror database is running and ready to receive data. Moving to Oracle Golden Gate, we will connect using the same DNS and map it to an alias for using it in the next steps. We set up an extract process to capture change data happening on the source Oracle database. We need to have a name and description for the process, define the parameters, select the domain, use the alias corresponding to the source, specify what the file name pattern is. For the purpose our reporting, analytics, and insights, we will configure to extract all tables from the Oracle sales history schema. The final step is to create and run the extract process. We can see details of the change data captured. For example, the number of inserts, updates, deletes, etc. on the statistics page. This changed data needs to be replicated over to the mirror database in Microsoft Fabric. Similar to the extract process, we need to set up a replicat process in Golden Gate. In this case, we need to define the details of where to pick up the trail files and specify the file name patterns to scan for. We select the option of Mirrored Database in Microsoft Fabric as the target for replication. Inside Properties, we will need to specify the names of the Fabric workspace, the mirror database, and the service principal tenant ID, client ID, and secret. We will start the process and check on the replication in the statistics page. Let us switch over to the Microsoft Fabric Mirror database and can see that the data is getting synchronized here in the replication status screen. To further test this, let us make a specific update at the source. We will go ahead and update the effective date of all customers in the sales history to January 2nd, 2019. 55,507 rows have been updated. Let us commit the update and head over to the mirror database to see if this data has been synchronized. In replication status, we can filter down on the table we need, in this case customer table. Each mirror database has a corresponding SQL endpoint. We will use T-SQL to query the customer's table for a sample of data and confirm that the data has changed. We will also count the number of records updated to ensure all updates have synchronized over. So, 55,507 records have been updated accurately. With this capability of Oracle data in sync with Fabric Mirror Database, we will leverage Power BI to visualize this data and gain insights. We will choose the semantic model and auto-create an executive dashboard quickly. Copilot is our buddy here to gain insights. Following suggestions from our buddy, we start with requesting for an executive summary, followed by additional insights. We can double-click on a specific item too. For example, here we would like to know more about how much revenue has been made by Contoso in Yokohama. We can see that Copilot is now helping us derive valuable insights from the Oracle data replicated in near real time to the mirror database. Having seen how AI Copilot is helping us within Microsoft Fabric, there is an equally critical topic of data governance we will now talk about. Microsoft Purview is the governance platform that helps secure and govern your data in a federated manner. Integrate with Oracle and Fabric metadata through Purview connectors-based scans. Using Data Catalog, create data products packaging data assets and federated meaningful domains for governance. End users query and search for data assets, request for access to the data products. All of this from a single platform, Microsoft Purview. Thank you for listening and would love to hear your feedback.
Yeah, that's the demo for Oracle Golden Gate integration for Open Mirroring. So as shared before, Open Mirroring really opened the floor and provide the flexibility for you to either build the customer solutions to mirror the database data from various type of data sources, or we provide some partner integration solutions that you can leverage to really cover different type of diverse scenarios. And another thing I'd like to share is mirroring is free for storage for replicas. So it is free up to the capacity that you provision in Fabric. So for example, if you provision a F64 capacity, which will in turn provide you the 64 terabytes of free storage for mirror database. And anything that is over this storage size will incur normal charges for that storage size. So this is this open mirroring and other database mirroring is the same for this charge model. So as a summary, as we shared, so all the roads just lead to OneLake. So we mentioned that OneLake is the center of the Microsoft Fabric, which really creates the data gravity in OneLake. And with mirroring, we on the left-hand side, we have the database mirroring for Azure SQL Database, Cosmos DB, Snowflake, SQL MI, or etc. to really bring data from different data sources into Fabric, which is a built-in like CDC-based solutions. Mirroring will detect the change, replicate data, and land into mirror database as delta tables for you. And also on the right-hand side, we expanded the solution to provide an open mirroring framework, which you can build your own solutions to bring in the data into Fabric, or leverage the partner solutions that we provided out of box as well. So once the data is available in OneLake, on top of that, there are a rich set of the Fabric native experience that you can just use seamlessly to do the data engineering using Spark, query the data using SQL Analytics endpoint, or do the reporting using Power BI or etc. There are various type of consumption ways to really help you derive insights from your data that you bring in from different source systems. So this is the overview of the mirroring. So thank you for joining. It's honored to share this database mirroring solution with you on what is mirroring, how it works, what capabilities we provided, and the upcoming roadmap with you. So once any of the enhancement available, please stay tuned for our future announcement. And we'd love to learn about your scenarios using mirroring, and also your feedback using this solution. So would love to connect as well. Thanks for joining for this session. Back to you, Isabel.
Thank you guys for joining us today. I'm trying to see if we have any questions in the chat. We have 2 comments. Someone said how to implement CI/CD for data factory pipelines. Linda, would you happen to have any information about that?
Yeah, data factory pipeline is a separate item that we didn't cover really today. There will be other sessions as well, and you can find in our documentation on the current support. And we are improving the CI/CD solution for data pipeline support as well. And so you can look for the future updates for that as well.
Thank you, Linda. And maybe this is very similar, but someone said how to create pipelines in Fabric using mirrored database.
So mirror database and pipeline are separate Fabric items for different scenario. Would love to learn more about your scenario using those. But in short, mirror database is really replicated data into the Fabric, and data pipeline can orchestrate different kind of the other is data movement, data integration kind of things all across. So currently these 2 are not integrated, but we'd like to learn your scenario and see how we can help as well.
Thank you, Linda. And for our viewers, I am just going to share a link in the chat, which will take you over to the landing page with our upcoming sessions. Aside from that, again, the chat will be open for any questions. And if you happen to miss any parts of the live stream, the recording will be available as soon as the live stream ends. But our next session is Upgrade Pathways to Data Factory in Fabric, and it will take place on December 17th. So if you'd like to join us, like I said, you can register using the link I shared in the chat, and we will look forward to seeing you there. It looks like we don't have any more questions, so I think it will be good for us to wrap up this session. I'm just going to bring Ye back on stage really quick. Thank you guys so much for the very insightful session. I think it was very interesting. I definitely learned a lot. But to our viewers at home, thank you so much for joining us today. And this live stream has now come to an end. And I hope everyone has a lovely day. See you all soon.